Food shortages are happening everywhere. Prices are skyrocketing. The markets are in panic. Now, what can you do about it? My name is David Ruff, and I am a realtor in the beautiful city of Toronto, Canada. But I am here for your health, wealth, and happiness. Remember that, your health, and I care about you. So I'm taking a break from the real estate to try to help you with your future and what to do with these food shortages. Coming right up. All right, you guys, as you know, I'm a realtor and I love building our wealth, but I want you to be safe and healthy. And so today we're going to be going over a couple of the things that I am very concerned about in the world today and how you can protect yourself a little bit. Now, let's share my screen with you just to show you a little bit of what we are looking at. Let me grab my glasses here. If we go and check this out, we see that people believe that this is coming. And even President Biden was mentioning that it is going to be real, that there's going to be food shortages. My country, I live in Canada. And in Canada, they were mentioning here that the Canadian Prime Minister was talking about possibly being able to make up some shortfall and being able to grow some extra food ourselves in Canada. That's not possible. They're talking about the food shock being absolutely devastating, that we're not going to have enough. Notice grain and sunflower oil, remember? We also are seeing, we got to remember this later, grain and sunflower oil. We also know here that the fertilizer is a massive, massive issue because a lot of countries are banning the export of fertilizer. That is crazy. Now, Russia and Ukraine are going to war. 12% of the world's wheat supply. Remember, 18% of the world's calories. But this is the sad thing, because the majority of this Russia and Ukrainian wheat, 25 African countries rely on those imports from Russia and Ukraine. And so, like we've seen so many times in the past, this is the scary part. It's the countries that need food the most that are going to be hurting from this, where other countries, maybe like the United States, may be able to afford to pay a higher price for the little bit of wheat that is left. But still, it is a higher price. If you just saw the last article, it was talking about the oil, the sunflower oil that is being blocked off by the Ukraine war. But if we go now, we now have Indonesia banning the export of palm oil. Then it wasn't just regular palm oil. Now they wanted to widen the palm oil export ban. And look at what the article says. It says it sent the market into a tailspin and may worsen food inflation. Listen, guys, it will bring food inflation. It's not may. It's impossible to actually think that. But this is the policy. Now they are adding into it not just regular palm oil, but crude palm oil, pre-processing, and even used palm oil. So this is going to add a lot of problems to the market. So you guys, everything in life, everything, this is a very big tip. Everything is supply and demand, period. I'm in housing. I run a real estate business in Toronto. It is supply and demand. The more people want it, the higher the prices will go. So listen, if we go and look at just Googling it, for example, I did this and let's see what Google says about it. Google just says supply and demand in economics is the relationship between the quantity of something and the various prices and quantity the customers wish to buy. It is the main model of price determination. I mean, it is the main thing. In fact, many would argue the only thing that actually affects it. So imagine that we're in a big city, 1 million people, whether you're in Manila, whether you're in Canada, New York, huge, 1 million people, and there's one banana left in the entire city. Somebody is going to pay a crazy price. Maybe his wife is pregnant and is desperate for a banana, or I don't know. Somebody really wants one for a recipe they're making. They're going to pay an extra high price for that banana. But if you reverse that and say there's a city of 1 million people and all of a sudden they have 5 million bananas sitting there ready to sell, the price is going to collapse because there's no way everybody could eat that many bananas. Supply and demand. And so it's like those scales, right? The more supply goes up, the lower the price. The lower the supply goes, the higher the price. And so right now we are in this desperate position where countries are doing a lot of things to shake up the food insecurity thing. Did you know that in Canada and the United States, we have measured amount of food supply that is there. Now, we don't make enough to feed our own population, so we have to import it from other countries. We have, on average, 4 meals in reserve. So we have a day and breakfast, okay, in reserve. If we don't bring in food every minute of every day, we're going to be in a deficit, in shortage. That's kind of like a really scary thing, right? That we don't have enough. And then it's one hit after another. Russia bans the export of a lot of their fuel, a lot of their fertilizer. China is banning the export of their fertilizer. Indonesia banning the export of their palm oil. And then Ukraine and Russia, they don't have time. They're fighting a war to grow wheat or grow the sunflower oil. So it is getting more and more at risk as we're seeing globalization decouple. It's coming apart, and we're getting to each country surviving on their own. So, when we deglobalize, things are going to get higher, expensive. But everywhere I look right now, I see in the newspapers food shortage, food crisis, all this stuff happening. So the good news and bad news, in my opinion, one day, I hope really soon, the Ukraine war will finish and we'll be able to grow food again. The Indonesian ban on oil, that is going to eventually, hopefully, let go. They don't have the storage facilities to store billions of liters of oil, so they will have to start selling it eventually. But what can you and I do about it? So I got to tell you, with inflation being so hard today, you don't want to sit in dollars. If inflation is going up 15% per year, remember, the governments are stating that it's 8% per year ballpark. But if we measured it the same way as we measured it in the 80s, we would be at 15%. So if we know that food, meat, oil, everything is going up 15% per year, we don't want to sit on dollars that are losing 15% of their value. We need to be in something. So you will learn that when you interview or watch YouTube videos about people that live in Venezuela or Lebanon or in Greece or anywhere that has had inflationary times. They know to be in stuff. So we have two problems that you're facing right now. Number one, we have massive inflation. And number two, possibility of food shortages, but we for sure are going to have big price hikes. If I could give you the benefit of going back 1 year from now to buy food from a year ago, would you? Yeah, almost everybody would, right? So I'm saying that I think that you should be buying some food. So what are some things that you can do? I can tell you that when it comes to oils, this is olive oil. There's olive oil and another oil that we have here, avocado oil. So remember, if palm oil is going to disappear and there's going to be none on the market, everybody's going to go look for an alternative, which is going to be like your olive oils or your avocado oils. These are good normally for a year or two for oils. So I would say always go and pick up a little bit extra of oil. I also would tell you that if you can go buy some canned soups, these are good for about 2 years. Now remember, it says best before, so they are good for a couple of years after even then, but you don't really necessarily want to. But this is a way for you to buy things now before they get expensive later. Okay, so that's some soups. Remember, these are just some ideas that I went and got at the grocery store. We have canned tuna that is possible. You also have canned chicken that is available. Now, if I look on the dates for these, there are 2024. So they're good for a couple of years, and that's the best before dates on those cans. Here's an idea. Remember, you can get fruit. You can also get vegetables in cans. This one is good until 2024 as well. So, these things are good for several years, and you can buy stuff like that to last you a long time. You can even get some prepared foods. Now, this isn't very good because there's a lot of salt in it, but we live in Canada, so there's English and French. But these are some vine leaves. They come in huge cans. Look at the size of that. But that's good for several years as well. This is just ideas for you to be able to preserve some of your purchasing power down the road. You can buy jam. Jam is a good idea because jam here, this is good for a couple of years. You can buy your coffee, your tea. Also, really good idea is long products. Here is some oats. This is good until 2023. So this is good for a year. I even found some fun things at the store like apples. These apples here, these are good for a year and a half, and they're dried apples, but not completely dry. Here is almonds. So you can buy nuts in large bags. This is good for a couple years as well. This is good till 2024. The cool thing is when they put them in these packages, they don't actually put air inside where there's oxygen that can deteriorate the food. They put nitrogen in it, and it stops the food from going downhill faster. So this is a good way for you to have some for a couple years. Now, this is just so that you're not going to pay extra. I'm not a tinfoil hatter. I'm not saying the world is crashing. I'm not saying that we're going to all be starving. If you just buy them for the knowledge of knowing that the prices are going to go up in the future, you're just saving money. It's like buying something on sale. Like, just let's look backwards. I always tell my mom, the price is what it is today. Last year, was it cheaper? And she's like, yes. I'm like, would you have bought more last year if you knew the prices were going up? She's like, yes. So if I know that the prices are going up again, I'm willing to buy them and hold on to some products just to make sure that I have a little bit, and I'm saving some money while I can. If you want to go to the crazy ends of the earth and go really, really far, there are such things as dehydrated food and freeze-dried food. Now, I'm somebody that does a lot of camping and fishing. I like being outside. I like being in the woods. So when you're out there, you're limited to how many things that you can cook with. And I don't always have refrigeration and so forth. And that's where I got into this world of buying these types of meals. As you can see, they're very, very thin packages. They're extremely, extremely light, but the food products are good for a long time. So you just rip off the top and add some hot water into this, and you let it sit for 15, 20 minutes, and all of a sudden this is going to be a meal. Now, this one is chili, beef and black beans. And so these meals are good for, get this, 25 years. Mind-bending, right? 25 years, because they take all the humidity out of it and they put an oxygen absorber inside the bag. So now there's no oxygen, no moisture, and the food is good for 25 years. That is an example of a meal like that. This is pad thai. Pad thai for 2 people, not just one. 2 people is good here. Now you rip open the top, you add 500 milliliters of water to this package, and it will be a meal. Isn't that incredible? So look at how thick that is. It's nothing, and it weighs nothing. I wish I could find the weight. Oh, here it is, 206 grams. Nothing. Now this package, it's good for 25 years. And so that's a meal for 2 people. Even if you didn't like a real meal and you didn't like the taste of, say, like pad thai, for example, you can buy base products, meaning just wheat or just sugar or just honey or just something like beef. Now this is 50 grams of beef, super, super light, tiny package. It also is good for 25 years, which is incredible. So that meat in there is saved for 25 years. It's healthy, and it'll give you 2 servings. I think it's 110 calories each serving. Kind of crazy, right? And so you just rip off the top, put in some boiling water, boil it for 15, 20 minutes, and then you have meat. So that's something that you can do. But you know, where you guys could start off with is just buying something like lentils, some types of beans, something like that. It lasts a very long time. Rice, oil. So it's something that you can do to save money. So when I tell my mom that toothpaste now is on sale for $3 instead of $5, she's going to run over to the store to buy it. Imagine being able to lock in today's prices. So don't sit in cash, sit in something and just buy a couple extra when you go to the store. I'm not saying build a bomb shelter. I'm saying just get a couple extra so that you're going to be okay. You're going to save money on it no matter what. And God forbid something like a shortage ever happens, you got your stuff. I'm here for your health, wealth, and happiness like I am every day. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to it, and maybe if you find it helpful at all, just send it to one friend, just one, and hopefully they get something out of it too. I'm here for you. I love you guys. Have a great day.